I normally do is we just get in like just really easy breezy with it. There's never really a point where I say we're starting now.
Yeah. I hear that.
Yeah. I don't know if Rob's already started. Yeah, I don't know if Rob's already started recording. I'm sure he'll send.
Oh, the table's not in shop. Like,
No. It's not a problem. What did you say?
yeah, I was on a daddy shit for real. So I was in town. We went to go treetop golf.
Mm-hmm.
Got to treetop golf. It was a ram in there. So it's like, you know what? We'll come here another day. Ended up bopping around town, just buying bare sweet stuff.
Of course. Do you have a sweet tooth?
Proper sweet tooth.
Really?
Oh man, my sweet tooth is absolutely horrendous. Horrendous.
I wish I had a sweet tooth.
What, you don't have a sweet tooth?
No.
What kind of you don't have a sweet tooth?
My humanity has been questioned.
So what do you do, like, you know, when you've had a nice meal, you know, like, I don't even know, let's say for the sake of the argument, you have a nice Sunday dinner.
Mm-hmm.
You just full up, you get me, and it's like, raw, this something sweet right now.
I drink water. It's very sad.
I hear that. Maybe I should be more like you.
I drink water. No, I have dessert once in a while. But maybe I'm saying like once every 6 months.
Yeah, that's what.
Really bad.
I might have dessert for breakfast.
That bad, huh? Okay, so welcome. Thank you for agreeing to sit down. It's just going to be a casual conversation, really.
I feel that.
But we have to kick it off with a shot of tequila.
I hear that.
So
That's dope.
you heard about it?
I heard about that spell, you know what I mean? Let's get it out of the way. At least it's at the top of the show anyway, and I ain't got to think through the show. These I'm going to get me to drink tequila at some point, man. When's this going to happen? Maybe we'll get it out of the way now, and then let's go.
Yeah, we tend to have at the start. So it loosens you up a little bit, gets you...
Trying to make me talk reckless, isn't it? I hear that.
That's the idea.
I don't know if that will work, but we can try, you get me?
So I've got the salt here.
So you have to direct me in.
Yeah, that's fine.
Lemon, like, what's the procedure?
So the process, and I'll even explain why we do it. So we've got the salt, and it's supposed to enhance the taste of the tequila. So just watch out you don't have too much. So you can just lick literally the crook of your, I guess, your hand.
Is that enough for what I need?
Yeah.
Heard?
So it's salt, then you have the tequila, and then you have the lime.
See it there.
So
Eye to eye, look, man. With
there
there.
you go.
Salt.
Mm-hmm. Peak.
You know what I was supposed to do?
Well done. How was that?
Horrendous. Don't drink tequila.
No.
Again, a salt and lime show though.
Thank you. I was about to say, don't do that.
Why? That burned my chest is warm right now.
God. That's the desired effect.
I hear that.
I'm glad you feel that way.
I got something in my tea.
Got something stuck. So, start with who you are, where you come from, but I'll ask you a specific question, which is, when did you know that you fall in love with music?
I don't even know, you know, it's like, music's always been around, you get what I'm saying? So like my dad had like the biggest music collection that I can think of. We had tapes, do you get what I'm saying? Like just like shoe boxes of tapes upon tapes, do you get me? So I feel like I always loved music, do you get what I'm saying? But the first piece of music that I remember that made me think like, raw, I want to do this, was like listen to Warren G's Regulate. So I don't know when that came out, but that my dad had the tape, and it was like Sony Walkman era.
Yeah.
So I took that tape and I used to just listen to that, rinse that album.
Okay.
So it was probably then.
And you decided, no, this is me.
I'd like to say that's what I said then, but looking back, that was the moment, you get what I'm saying? That was when it's like, boom. That was like, yeah, I love this team.
I read somewhere that you said your dad had a lot of West Coast. West Coast is Snoop, right?
West Coast.
Dr. Dre.
That's what it was. It was Dr. Dre, The Chronic.
That's a very good project, man.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg, Doggy Style,
Yeah.
and the Deep Cover soundtrack. So it's like, when Mum was young, me and my brother would beg for the Doggy Style album to be played in it. And then I was a fan of artwork. So I'd always try to look at the tape, but my dad would never let me look at the tape. So when I was old enough and I bought the CD myself, I looked at the artwork again, and I can see why my dad didn't let me look at the artwork at that time.
Yeah.
And The Chronic was a major album as well, like Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. Yeah, it was major influence.
You know, you're saying that. When I listened to Trust the Process, I could hear hints of West Coast.
Cool.
But like on first impression, it was East Coast.
And yeah.
It was Wu-Tang Clan. It was A Tribe Called Quest. It was Mos Def. That was what screamed out to me. And actually, that's what I liked the most, because I love East Coast music.
And I love East Coast music too, and you get what I'm saying? So it's like, so yeah, my pops, it was very West Coast in it, because at that time, West Coast was popping, and you know what I mean? So Above the Rim soundtrack and Menace to Society soundtrack. It's like these days, soundtracks was live.
Of course.
You get what I'm saying?
Well, the films were popping too.
Absolutely.
Right.
So like the soundtracks, like, and the films, like,
Made sense.
you get me? So then my pops left when I was like 10. So then from then I found my own kind of identity with music. So it's like I started with Tupac. So I was like, every Tupac CD I was on, do you get what I mean? Christmas, I write my list, I go HMV or Ainley's, and I look to see which ones I ain't got, I write the names down, and be like, boom, that's what I want for Christmas on my birthday. So then after I got Tupac, I moved to DMX. So obviously I'm moving more to a New York sound, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then from DMX, it was like, I got into like CNN, Capone and Noriega, and it was Queens. Queens was the sound, innit? Like for me, I love Queens, innit? I feel like that's all the spitters are from, innit? So then that's when I bumped into like I said, CNN, Nas, Cormega. Do you get what I mean? Like there was just different MCs from Queens. It seemed like that's where all the spitters were from. So then, and then it was like Harlem. I love the Harlem MCs as well. Brooklyn, it was like Brooklyn was like the hard man. Them one was just like the hyenas. You know what I'm saying? So as I grew and got more into music, I kind of moved away from West Coast. West Coast was too happy.
Right.
You get me?
Too groovy.
Yeah, it was too
Doesn't make sense.
it was too sunny. That's what it was. And that period in time where I was coming into music, it wasn't sunny times. Do you feel me? I felt like the East Coast had that grit. It's like that
The hardship was speaking through the music a lot more.
you could hear the trains, like the trains screaming in it. You get me? And there's that basement rap, like, you know, like the pipes dripping and decks and boom. You know what I mean? It was raw in it, and that's what drew me into it. So yeah, I love the East Coast sound in it. Like that's me in it. But my introduction to it was the West Coast.
I mean, it shines through in your music now. When I'm introducing people to your music, and they're like, "What does he sound like? Who does he?" I'm like, East Coast. If you like East Coast 90s music, rap music, Strauss is your person.
Yeah, man. That's what my brain tempo is, in it. That's the tempo that I operate at. Do you get what I mean? That boom bap sound, in it.
Of course.
So it's like, yeah, man. It's got that feel. You get me?
And the jazzy side. I mean, if we talk about West Coast music, I hear more of a jazzy sound in West Coast. This is more let's talk about Kendrick, right? But we know that Kendrick has famously said that his family's from Chicago, so that's where the jazz comes from. But like you were talking about the happy music, right? Jazz can have a depressive tempo.
Definitely.
But there's another side that feels more West Coast. But I don't know how you've managed to bring that into your music, and it's distinctively jazzy.
You know what it is with the jazz? That's my mum. Do you get me? Like the music that I used to write to was living East Coast. And I just have hard like head nod stuff. You get what I'm saying? So when I'm listening to instrumentals all day in the kitchen, my mum's like, yo, I can't listen to that no more. That's doing my head in. You need some melody. So it's like, I used to do my head in because it's like, what do you mean by melody in it? So it's like, as time progressed, she was like, oh, you need more melody in the beats. Do you get what I'm saying? The tunes are like the Art Summarizing Life, my first project. She was like, yeah, that's nice. And there's some all right tunes on there, but there's no melody on there. You get me?
Right.
So like, I took it back to my guy Rubs. So the from jazz gives it a natural melody. Do you get what I'm saying? And it's like, it's melodical, and you can put the hard bars on the jazzy beats, and it's a nice mixture in it. It's like hot and cold in it. It's like hot apple pie and ice cream. You get me? It's like, if you listen to my bars, I'm talking some hard stuff in it. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like if you put it on the next beat, on the trap beat, or something a bit harder, it's hard stuff. It's hard. Do you get me? But because it's got a nicer backdrop, the jazz provides melody and just a vibe. You get me? It's like, yeah, man. I think it's a good mix, and that's why I'm not really. My mum told me bring melody into it, and I like jazz in it. I love jazz. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, yeah, this jazz does something to me in it.
That's so cool. Tell me, where did the name STRIZZY STRAUSS come from?
Yeah, you know, it was when I was at uni. Like, my name's Levi, innit? So when I was at uni, my brethren, he used to call me Strauss all the time, innit? I didn't even think, I didn't think nothing of it. So one time after a night out, we was just jamming. And I was like, bro, why do you call me Strauss? It's like the jeans, innit? Levi Strauss, jeans.
Yeah.
And I was like, rah, that's heavy. So I just kept it moving, innit? I always wanted to make music, but I wasn't really making music then, innit? So then when it was time to make music, my brethren came to me, he's like, yo, what's your name? So I was like, boom, Strauss, because Strauss is a classical composer as well. You get me? So it's kind of like, what do you call it? A double entendre. So it's like, boom, my name's Levi, and you got the jeans, and then boom, Strauss is a classical composer, innit? And then the STRIZZY STRAUSS is like, really, man, them either, who know me, they either call me Strizz or they call me Strauss. It's not a STRIZZY STRAUSS thing, innit? You get me? It's like, STRIZZY STRAUSS came from, I made a track called Ode to Naz, innit? So what I did was, I went through all Naz's tracks off one of like his albums and whatnot. So it's kind of like, it was written, I am STRIZZY STRAUSS, innit? You get me? And then it kind of stuck. And then when I went to release my first project,
Right.
my brother said to me, you know what, I should keep it STRIZZY STRAUSS, because when you type STRIZZY STRAUSS in Google, it's the first thing.
It's the first thing that pops up. That's true.
In YouTube, it's the first thing that pops up. So I was like, all right, see, there we come wrong with that. Do you get what I'm saying? It's a mouthful, but see, that I hear that. Do you get me? And yeah.
That's so cool. For our listeners who don't know, you said the jeans. So the American innovator for what we now know as Levi's jeans. His name was Levi Strauss.
Yeah.
So no, it's just some context because but yeah, that makes so much sense. So I think there's an element of innovation as well, because I think Levi's was the very first company that actually, you know, the way we understand denim now, blue denim, that was the first company to have that.
But I'm today years old when I found out about that. You get me? It was just like, boom, I clocked, it's Levi Strauss. It wasn't so much about the jeans, really, innit?
No.
It's like a being witty.
It was the idea behind it, wasn't it?
You get me? Like, so yeah, man.
And then the understanding that Strauss was also, I think he must have been German as well, a German composer.
Like Austrian, German, something like that.
Yeah. Okay, tell me about Phoenix Quarter.
Oh, see, you have done some research. So like, Phoenix Quarter, when I was at uni in 2004, I think it was.
Okay.
2004, when I was at uni. Because I went uni, partied more than I probably should have studied. Things then, you get me, had to take that year out and whatnot, and then went again, you get me? So at that first period in time when I was at university, my dream was to meet a man that was rapping, innit? You get me?
That's why you went to uni?
No, that's not why I went uni. The reason I went uni, which is a mad thing, I wasn't going to do nothing, innit? But my mum was on to me. She was like, yo, Levi, you can't be in this yard doing nothing, innit? You're either going to stay in education or get a job.
Get a job.
Mum was super work shy in it. I thought, like, I'm not working no menial job. I'm bouncing into a big boy wage job when I work. So I'm going to try go uni in it. And I'm not stupid. So I had results from college and whatnot. So one day I was at yard. I was like, you know what, let me go see if I can do a course in it. Went to the uni. There was like, boom, I can go through clearing because I had good results.
And
get what I'm saying? I was like, oh, can you see it there? Went through clearing, picked up some joke courses. They weren't joke, you get me? Politics was live, but I couldn't do politics on its own, innit? So I had to do it with something else. So I chose film studies, but film studies weren't film studies to what I thought film studies might be.
Right.
This was about film hotels. And you know what, to be fair, I learned stuff, but didn't pass it. You get me? I know stuff now because I did it.
Right.
And whatnot. So it was like, fast forward, I didn't do very well and whatnot. And I started again. But during that time, I met some people that made music, Phoenix Quarter, innit? Do you get me? So the first guy I met was Qualms, KWR, big up my guy. I met him. He was on my business course.
Right.
I did business and management. So this must be when I went back. Yeah, my everything's sketchy in it. Was it business and what? And Qualms was somewhere in it. I met Qualms on one of my courses.
Right.
Could have been, must have been politics. You get me? Anyway, he told me that he rapped. So I was like, right, you rap? He's like, yeah, man, come get my bread, boom, boom, boom. So I met a man named Yasha. And then, so we've chopped it off and whatnot. And I was just in awe, innit? And then further down the line, I've met Slim and I've met Uriah. Do you get me? Like, and these was in a crew called Phoenix Quarter. There was a couple more. There was like Bo, Sloppy Styles. If I've missed any names, I'm sorry, innit? It was a while ago. Jack, Slim, Bo, Yasha, Uriah, and yeah, them I was killing it. Do you get what I'm saying? So I studied these like it because these was making the rap that I liked, innit? The sound is more of a conscious sound, innit? And these were uni guys, innit? It was like that the hipster stuff before the hipster stuff was the hipster stuff. You get me?
Yeah.
So it's like them I was doing shows all over Leicester, Poonana, the Charlotte. We went to Brighton one time when they was doing a show. That was cold, that show. But they supported guys like Jest, A Savior, Clash, Supernova. They was on stuff, Big Ben. Like, yeah, they was heavy. So I studied these lot for a minute, you get what I mean, while they was at uni. But I built a close relationship with Uriah. And Deepot's his name was, you get me?
All right.
So what it was, when I met him, I was very raw with the rap, do you get me? And then he was like the sensei. My man just like, boom, you know what it is? Structure it like this. Don't write it to rhyme it. Rap it to talk it, you get me? Because if you can talk it, you can do it on any tune. That just have a conversation with man, innit? You get me? So it's like, when he said that to me, like, something, the penny dropped, innit? It was like, raw, you're right, you get me? So it's like, boom, I worked up talk pace, innit? For man could chat to a man, innit? Do you get what I'm saying? So he helped me, like, put me on tunes. He was making a project at them times there, so these times it must have been like 2006. Do you get what I'm saying? Or something like that. And he was going in because I was under him. So he was making the projects. He was recording the tracks, working towards the EP, going to talent shows. And then one time we went Birmingham, and on the way back, the car broke down. It was me, his mom in the car. And then first, what happened was we went the wrong way from Birmingham. So we was going the other way, innit? So then, but we've clocked and we've turned around. And then we broke down, innit? So the distance we've gone that way is kind of the distance we was away from home, innit? I broke down long time, but that was just an experience, innit? But he was going out there performing and doing it all. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, my confidence was low, and I was just trying to figure it out. Like, I thought I could spit before I went to uni, then I saw real spitters like Phoenix Quarter in there, and it's like, whoa, let me refine this thing, you get me? So then me and Uriah, like, built a relationship for years, man, like, for years, like, so then man then graduated, but he didn't graduate that time. He graduated a year later, so he was still there a year later. But they had Slim, cold MC, cold rapper Slim. Like, I take a lot from Slim, what I saw Slim doing, and apply that to my own performance, because Slim is a showman, like proper showman, you get me? Then you got Jack the Lad. Jack the Lad's like a spitter, like phonetics, wordplay, everything. Like, yo, he was the guy, you get me? And it was like Uriah. Uriah was like me, innit? Do you get me? Like, it wasn't like me in terms of skill sets, but the person in it, we came from the same environments, innit? So what he said really hit me more than what these man was saying, innit? Not to say they work for the same place, he just worded it in a way that worked for me, innit? You get what I mean? So like, yeah, man was drawn to Uriah. He was training man up. Then we met a man named Zappa, innit? My man from Durham Street. So Zappa, he lived on Durham Street, and he was producing for Uriah these times, innit? Because Uriah kind of went on his own thing from Phoenix Quarter. So the first tune we made was called These Days, innit? And it was like, I used to go bed at night saying, yo, I beg you, please, just let me put 116 down on that tune. Just 116 and I'll be happy, you get me? You know, just generally I would do that. Because I was getting into the laws of attraction and the secret and them things there, innit? So I was just trying to get a leg up. You get me?
Right.
Let me in, please. You get me?
Manifesting.
You know, there was... and then, boom, I got my chance, and it was at Zappa's, and the track These Days, it was Uriah and Crooked. And then mum was like, yo, you got a verse for this? I'm like, yo, I have. I had one verse that would just rap all the time, innit? I don't even remember the bars now. Do you get what I'm saying? It feels like it was so long ago. And then I just sparked it. And I was just following Uriah for a couple of years, innit? Do you get what I mean? I was just like, an understudy, innit? Like, I was just trying to see how it goes, innit? Yeah, figure it out. Then he graduated in like 2000 and could have been 6. 2007, could have been, yeah, 2006, because I went back to uni in 2007. Like, I went back, and that's when I just went hard, you get what I'm saying? So then I found a studio, the Watershed, and it was like, what? His studio, I'm telling you, yeah, the studio at the Watershed was like some state-of-the-art thing. It was like, I could only imagine Dr. Dre and them man was working in, it was like, you know, the recording booth, it was like a patio door, a slide thing, like, whoop. Do you get me? It's a library, no, it's massive. But it was so good to develop in that place because we weren't at that level to use that, but we was able to use it with Dom, man like Dom.
Okay.
And that helped me. That helped me a lot. I put out a project. I just recorded the tunes. I didn't even mix and master them, innit? I burned the CDs off of my Mac desktop. And it was called The Voice of a Wrecked Generation, you get me? And me and my brother just knocked up an image and we just started passing it out. So like, we get me around the ends, but then the sheet was gonna blow and that, but we didn't understand the sound, innit? We didn't understand the mix and master and that. Like, it sounded clean to us. You get me? But it weren't that. Do you get what I'm saying? But man, that was jumped on board.
Sometimes it's the excitement though, isn't it? Now, actually putting something out.
Absolutely, like, I was desperate. By these times now, I was desperate to have a go now, innit? I used to ask myself, like, yo, why ain't I there, innit? What makes them different to me, innit? You get me? And it's funny because that's like the arrogance of youth.
Of course.
To get me? Like, whereas now when I look back, it's like, right, I know exactly why it weren't, you get me? It weren't ready. So.
What do you think that was?
Why I wasn't there? I just didn't have enough years under my belt.
Right.
I just didn't have I didn't have the experience. I didn't have the EXP points. Like, you know how it goes, innit? You know when you do something and it's like, they call it beginner's luck sometimes, innit?
Of course, and we get it right.
And you're popping, innit? Man, they will gas you at the moment, like, yo, that's heavy. And then you fall in, you listen to that, innit? You get tricked by the source, innit? Of course. And sometimes you're not around anyone else to gauge yourself around, innit? So when you're on your own and you're around people that can't really do it and they look to you like you're heavy, right, there's not someone to benchmark yourself against, innit? So you have an ego, innit? Naturally, innit? But young as well, innit? Like, yeah.
I think it comes with being an artist. And new artists, please listen to Strauss. because I think we've got a lot of artists who are navigating on beginner's luck.
Absolutely, I get that, but at the same time, it's man can make that work. Like, man could buy a lottery ticket for the first time ever with a quick 300 bags. It's like, yo, that's beginner's luck, but yo, you're set now, innit? So I'm not knocking beginners up because, yo, man could have, and I was helpful. If the beginners luck caught onto something and man got signed and yo, it's better to learn from a place of, to get me some foundation.
In a much better place.
You know, there was, and so I'm not trying to knock it. It's just like, there was an honesty that I wasn't having with myself in it.
Right.
But it goes back to the fact that I can say that now at 37 in it. But when you're talking to a man that's like 21, 22, I feel like I'm the bee's knees. Do you get what I'm
At 22, I thought I knew everything.
22.
You couldn't tell me shit at 22.
Listen, when I was at uni, these times I was at uni, innit? So when I'm at uni, I'm thinking, boom, watch. What should we get a degree and bounce into a 25k a year job? And 25k a year,
What's a lot?
that's not even a lot of money generally.
No, but to us it was.
Yeah, I hear that. But when you're thinking about it, like 25k was like 100 bags then. Innit? In my mind, I'm looking at it like it's 100 bags. Like I'm set. 25k, I'm chilling. You get me? Nando's every night.
Life could start.
But that's the arrogance of youth, innit? So what I'm saying is, yeah, youngsters might want to listen to what I'm saying, innit? Do you get what I'm saying? But you've got to go through the journey, innit? And everyone's journey at the same. Some might top off for you, innit? You might be a bit better than what I was then.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? I might not. And that's what I'm saying, it as well. At the same time, I don't think I was as good as I thought I was then. Do you get me?
Yes.
Like, I felt like I was like this level now, how I feel about myself. I felt like that then, innit? And how is that possible? Do you get what I'm saying? Because man have progressed in it. So it's just a case of experience. Just keep it a trillion with yourself, innit?
It's true. And I'm assuming with that experience, eventually you arrived at trust the process.
Absolutely. So, yeah. So we had the Art of Summarising Life first. I dropped that EP, I think it was like, it was 2017, it was just before my boy was born. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like, that was massive. And do you get what I'm saying, innit? So I was at that level again. So imagine, I thought I was the bee's knees at uni, you get me? Like, with unmixed, unmastered songs, I thought I was hard. To where I get to a point where I've got mixed, unmastered songs, I feel like, yo, this is it. Do you get what I'm saying?
I'll tell you what, I love Trust the Process. I'm a massive fan. And actually, I didn't know you before Trust the Process.
Okay.
And I listened to Trust the Process. Okay, he's got something here. And it was so, so good. I remember listening to Gems and Goosebumps.
Okay.
I could not believe it. Couldn't believe that you were in the Midlands.
See.
And I listened to Hieroglyphics.
Okay. See it there.
And that was even better.
Okay.
So that entire project, you put your foot in that.
Yeah.
Your leashes, your elbows, all of that.
Appreciate that.
Very, very, very good project.
Appreciate that.
You released it in lockdown.
Yeah.
Why?
You know, it was,
Why?
I'll be honest with you, I felt like it was an opportunity to catch up.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's sitting down now, innit? And being honest with you, I think it was the best thing that happened because I feel like people took note. People like you're there. Do you get what I'm saying, innit? Like, I felt like the coast was clear, you get me? The seas was calm. So I could drop music. And man, I'm thinking like, bro, who's this guy, innit, man? It's getting on my nerves now. He's dropping, he's just everywhere now, innit? Do you get me? But I've just been a nuisance. I just thought, okay, cool. There's people that are probably in labels, situations or whatnot. And the fact of the matter is, I had the videos and everything ready to go in it. I didn't know when I was going to go.
Right.
But we were just looking for a moment to go in it. In hindsight, if I'm being harsh on myself, I think it was rushed. You get what I'm saying? I think, like you said, innit, like, knowing what I know now, I'd have done it a different way, innit?
But I think that's too much pressure on yourself.
This is what I'm trying to say, innit? But I think Hieroglyphics came out, so what it was, yeah, I went Italy that year. I must have went Italy with my Guy Wavy. And then I met Large Professor. So this was like, what, January 2020, innit? That was when the lockdown licked, innit? 2020.
Yeah, it was 2020.
Yeah, it was, yeah. It was
Lockdown started after
2020, so boom. We went Italy 2020, I met Large Professor, and then he said to me, he's like, yo, I dig your style, you know? And he ain't even heard me rap or nothing, innit? He just saw me as a person, because we just was chopping it up, innit? That just gave man the most, like, what? Do you get me? It's like, yo! I just put the battery in my back, innit? So I was passing out, like, demos of my album to just people there, innit? Do you get me? I was in Italy, I was like, boom. Give it to them. Came back. And then everyone was talking about, this was January, innit? So then February licks. and then they're talking about this anyway, was it called COVID-19?
It was,
Whatever it was, and it was calling this, and I was like, I don't really watch the news too tough, innit? So I'm getting this information from people. I was like, nah, it's not that. You get me? Like, I'm out here, innit? It's not happening. So then we get to March, man are talking about lock it down, innit? Bearing in mind, in the meantime, we've been planning, we've got videos recorded, we've been planning about how we're going to do it. We just weren't too sure, innit? It was like time, and I was working for a housing association, and
Right.
I was in a job that I didn't enjoy, innit? So it was just mad. And then my brother Rabs must have shouted, rang me one day. He's like, yo, let's just release the video now, innit? Let's go now, innit? Do you get what I'm saying? It's the lockdown. No one's doing anything. Everyone's sitting at yard. They're all more than likely going to be sitting there. They'll watch a video now rather than listen to a song, innit? We've got videos, innit? Let's have a go. So I was like, all right, see it there.
All right.
So we dropped the first tune, and then we just jugged it. You get me? I think the first track came out around Good Friday, I think it was, something like that. Because I remember that weekend, that Good Friday weekend to Easter Monday, I was online. I was just, everyone that liked the video on my Instagram or my Facebook, I direct messaged them and I gave them an individual message. It was no spam. You get me? I spoke to all of them. Like, boom, boom, boom. So at the end of that weekend, we must have had like, I don't want to go, we had like 200 emails for the mailing list.
All right.
We had like, we went from like 73 subscribers on the YouTube to like, it was like double, I want to say, innit? Something like that. I don't even know the numbers. I don't really follow the numbers, innit? All I know is it was a massive increase because I spoke to the people them directly, innit? Because everyone's sitting down, innit? No one's got nothing to do. So when you're messaging these people, even journalists, they weren't able to do things, innit? Because their bosses have told them like, no, you can't do nothing, man. Like, you got to sit down. It's a furlough thing, innit? So you got to sit down and do no work, innit? So people were just picking things up and seeing stuff, innit? And it just gained little bits of momentum because we went every month. So it was like, boom, we dropped Who Am I first. Then we went Hieroglyphics. Then I think we went Gems. Then we went Trust the Process. Then we hit them with Driven, you get me? It's like the baby.
Yeah, Driven
It
too.
was like, it was just consistency in it. And what I learned from an early age was you just got to be consistent. You can be consistently good or you can be consistently shit. The main thing is consistency. You'll get there. Because how many rubbish... Well, I don't feel like anyone's rubbish. I think it's all taste in it. Do you get what I'm saying? But how many people have you seen that are less talented than others make it because of their consistency? They're in your face every day. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, right, okay, cool. We'll accept it. You get me? So it's like, I just believe if I can just maintain a consistency and just keep tapping you in your head.
Force motivation, listen.
You get what I'm saying? So that's why we went in the pandemic, innit? Do you get what I mean? Because it was like a chance to catch up with man that weren't releasing nothing, innit? So by the end of the pandemic, people knew my name, innit? Within the pocket where we are and where we were, like, it's like a niche kind of pocket, like that UK boom bap, hip hop, lo-fi, jazz sound. You get what I'm saying? So within that realm, my name wasn't as big as others, but some people recognize that. They're like, rah, man, I got subscribers on flipping YouTube, man, I got followers on Spotify, man, I got people that listen to my innit. Like, I've got a nice little consistent pocket of plays in it. So it's like, I feel like we've benefited so much from that. You get me? In hindsight, knowing what I know now, if I didn't know what I know now then, I would have done it a bit different. You get what I'm saying? But obviously, without that moment there, I wouldn't be here.
And now you're working on a new project.
Absolutely.
And are you at liberty to tell us the title?
Well, I was independent. I could do what I want.
Go on then.
You get me? But how I played. But still, yeah, it's called Love is the Currency. So, the whole ethos of, man, when you come around, man, and you're jamming with us, that's how we move, innit? You get me? Love is your currency around us, innit? You get me? If you
Talk from that. What did that mean?
It's just like a lot of people, they put certain things before other things that aren't necessarily beneficial for yourself, innit? Do you get what I'm saying? I think it's coming away from the finances, innit? The currency in terms of physical means, innit? It's a love thing right now, innit? So the reason behind it is our friend Belge passed away, innit? Very close friend to mine, innit? Like, yeah, it was absolutely horrendous, man. I've never felt like that about anyone before. You get me? When they've passed in it, and bare people have passed in it, and it's just like, yo, it was a real wake-up call, innit? I suddenly became of my mortality, innit? and aware of the time that I may or may not have, I may or may not be using. Do you get me? So it's like, the Rabs is bridging as well, innit? We went uni together at one, and we all came up together, innit? Do you get me? So it's like, when that happened, it rocked our world. Do you get what I'm saying, innit? So everything with this album, Love Is The Currency, it's like the grieving process, what we was thinking, what we was going through, the plans, and just how we felt during that period of time. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily all about him, but he definitely spanned it, innit? It's the feelings that came after that, do you get me? And what we found from it is like, love is the currency, innit? The way we moved, the way he moved, love was the currency, innit? Do you get what I'm saying, innit? Like, I never saw him upset, never saw him angry. Do you get what I'm saying? He was always in love. Do you get what I'm saying? Always positive. He was like, yo, Streets, man, you can do this. Like, he was from Belgium. Do you get what I'm saying? But he was Nigerian by way of Belgium. You get me? Mad accent. This guy, like, sounded American. You get me? He was crazy, innit? Do you get what I'm saying? But my man had, like, the most love for everyone, innit? You feel me? And I firmly believe that he was an angel, innit? Do you get me? I feel like he came here to do what he was supposed to do, and then he left, in it. He came in and left breadcrumbs to the source for us. You get what I'm saying? So his job was done. He touched man, and he touched everybody in it. Everybody's affected differently in it. You get what I'm saying? But it's bittersweet because since then, everyone's grown, and I say everyone in it. I say me, Rabs, and my immediate one. I don't know how everyone who was affected by it was in it. Do you get what I'm saying? But me, Rabs, and V, and the Tess, Son, and all the people around us, like, man have kind of excelled in it. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like, have you ever seen the movie The One with Jet Li? Or Highlander?
Highlander, I've seen.
You know, when man has to go to different dimensions, take man out, he takes their energy and then gets off. I feel like when Belge passed away, his energy spread between all his loved ones. You get what I'm saying? So this is why it's love is the currency in it, because that was him in it. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's what we're trying to push in it. Do you get what I'm saying? And I feel like the concept and the things that we're talking about, it shows you in it, like, it's love here in it. Money is void here in it. Do you get me? Transactions are void with money right here in it. If you're not dealing with love, then you can't come around here. You get me?
Not walking, moving in love.
Do you get what I'm
The
saying?
intention is not love.
And this is what I'm saying in it. I feel like it's something that we don't touch on enough in it. You get me? Man don't say a man loves a man till he's flipping serious times in it. Do you get what I'm saying? Till a man's not well or a man's passed. And do you get what I'm saying? So I just try to encourage, like, love is the currency, man. Move with love and you'll be blessed. You get me? The universe will line you up.
It's coming from a place of vulnerability, and that's really hard. Like, I rarely see people get that vulnerable.
This album is a very vulnerable Strizz, isn't it? I'll keep it real with you. I feel like the first one, the Awesome Rising Life, the EP, it was an introduction to man, innit? You get me? I'll see what people liked, innit? Trust the process. In hindsight, I feel like I was sitting behind my youths a lot. You get what I'm saying? I'm hiding behind the family man and the community role and bringing everybody up in it, not really delving into me in it. I'm not giving you all of me.
Of course.
Love is the currency. It's not really about anyone else but myself in it. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think this one's a very vulnerable album, like the topics we talk about. Yeah, man, I feel like this is our best work in it. I feel like I've grown as a person in it. Like the journey, like we started recording this, so when we found out that Belge was ill, that was like 2019, I want to say, like when we found out he was really ill in it. Do you get what I'm saying? It was like we started recording bits then in it, like writing stuff, and it just wasn't sticking in it. Do you get what I mean? Because man was still in that moment in it. It was like when man got the phone call to say that he'd passed, I couldn't believe it. Like I was waiting for man to ring me back to say no.
That's the joke.
Joking, innit? It's not true, innit? You get what I'm saying, innit? So that's the kind of like raw that like this is mad.
Surreal.
So it's like I was writing and trying to capture little ideas and whatnot. Do you get what I mean? And then he passed away in December of 2019.
Sorry.
Then it was like 2020. My brother Rabs must have stockpiled bare beats that he produced in it. And then he emailed me, he was like, yo, Strizz, I picked the tracks for the album, do you get what I'm saying? These are the tracks we're working on in it. So I just started chipping away at them, do you get what I'm saying? We just started chipping away. There was tracks there that when I first heard it, I hated them, do you get what I'm saying? And then when I heard them again, I was like, raw, this is a banger. Like, what's this? Do you get what I'm saying? So it was very cathartic in terms of the grieving process. Like, man put a lot into this album, innit? There's a lot of grieving, flipping, just a real honesty. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like when Strizz in it, it's like Levi in it. I'd love to say, love is the currency by Levi Knight. You get me? Because that's how I feel this album is. Do you get what I'm saying? This is me.
The real you.
Yeah. I feel like STRIZZY STRAUSS is like, that's me, my brethrens, the community, the ends, the youngsters, the people that I'm gonna work with, and that's everyone as a whole in it. You get me? I feel like this album here is very me in it. Yeah.
I like that. You've released 2 singles, Hot Rocks.
Yeah.
Your 2 features are really good, by the way.
Thank you.
And Fish Fridays.
Yeah.
Now, Hot Rocks is like new. It was released, was it last year or the before?
It could be. You know what it is? I'm just recovering from like 4 birthdays in 6 weeks. Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
Everything's a blur.
all my youth's birthdays in the space of 6 weeks. You get me? So I'm just recovering from that. So yeah, it was like it was a couple of weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago.
It's very, very good. How many tracks do you have on the project altogether, roughly? I know you guys are still mixing it.
I think so. Like 14, 15 maybe, something like that. But I think that's will possibly get refined down.
That's an okay number.
Yeah, there was way more than that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But you have to refine some of that down, innit? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, some stuff had to go, you get me?
Understandably.
Yeah.
Understandably. So, with all of that put together, who do you listen to these days while you're getting in the zone, while you're driving around, while you're with your kids, besides prepping for the album?
It's mad, because I was talking about this recently, actually. Like, a lot of the time I listen to instrumentals. But I'm just stuck in a lo-fi playlist on Spotify. So any producers out there, if you got any hip-hop playlists, I beg you send me them in it and let me see what you're working with, because I'm a fiend for instrumentals. But when I'm driving around with the youths, it's got to be like PG to a degree. It's PG/12, innit?
What do you listen to with your kids?
Yeah, we listen to random it's like tracks from back in the day. Like my eldest, she loves Kanye West. Like old Kanye West, like Through the Wire, College Dropout, Kanye, innit?
That was my I Love Music album.
Yeah, so she loves him. I did something that I probably shouldn't have done, innit? You get me? But we all love Young Jeezy's tune, Standing Ovation. You get me? Like, when that tune comes on, every single one of us, all 3 of us, we start singing the tune, and we know the words, and it's a really proud moment. But when I got my daddy hat on, I'm thinking, ooh,
terrible.
There's some bars they're saying in that, but certain things have to let go.
You have to let it go sometimes. You do.
Yeah, but with the youngsters in it, we listen to a lot of like R&B. So my son really likes Soulflower from Spider-Man Into the Spideyverse. Like, he loves that soundtrack. My youngest, my daughter, she loves Burna Boy. Last. That's her thing.
That's very good.
We listen to a lot of like stuff that I used to listen to when I was young, and like Georgia Smith maybe. I'm trying to think who they listen to at the moment, man. Just like, to be fair, I'm not really listening to too much with them recently because they've got their own AirPods now, so they don't really deal with man, innit? You get me?
They're phasing you out, Dad.
Well, my daughter likes Burna Boy, and my boy likes anything active. You get what I'm saying, innit? But me, when I'm on my own, I'm listening to a lot of D-Block Europe at the moment. You know what it is? When they first came out, I was not even trying to listen to them. I don't know why, innit? You know what it was? I fell into the old heads saying, "No, we're not listening to that." So I didn't even give it a chance.
I'll tell you, I went to see them live. Strauss.
I would love to see them live.
Oh my goodness.
So boom, at the start of this year, I was like, boom, I'm gonna start listening to music that I don't normally listen to. I just want to see what people are listening to at the moment. I listen to a lot of boom bap music, and like I said, the music I listen to is quite niche in it. I want to see what in general people are listening to in it. So I'm feeling Heady One really like heady one.
Yeah.
Deep like Europe, they're moving me at the moment because they can actually rap and they got decent beats. So the tracks that was coming out that I seen from them, there was a bit of slackness in these things, and I can't listen to it with my youths in it. Do you get what I'm saying? So I was kind of like, raw, is that what they're on in it? But I've took the time out to listen to them and just like, raw, man.
They're very good.
They're going in.
They're very, very good. I'll suggest, I don't know if you listened to him already, Knox.
Yeah, Nux is hard. Yeah, I listened to Nux.
I think he's similar to what you're on. His latest project, very cinematic.
Is that the Alpha thing?
Alpha Place.
Cold, I like that.
Right, a lot of film. I'm a nerd like that.
See.
So a lot of film references.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of them immediately.
You ever seen them?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, the most, you know, like.
Very, very good film.
That's another one, like Man on Fire. Is that the one with Denzel?
Yes, Man on Fire is
And then
Denzel.
you know, with Vin Diesel's a most too. Yeah.
I loved Knox's album. So yeah.
The album's cold. Still.
And Loyal Connor's new project.
Yeah, Loyal Con is decent as well. I listen to a lot of American as well. Though. I like Ransom.
Yes.
I like Absol's new thing.
I haven't heard that. That's on my list.
Listen to that.
I love Absol.
Freddie Gibbs is sold separately. Is cold.
Yeah.
Who else? I listen to kind of a lot of older music as well, innit? So
Understandably.
Like CNN. I like a lot of Queens in it. Do you get what I'm saying? I love like Cameron, like Dipset, G Unit. That's what that's like the era kind of
very nostalgic stuff.
D Block. Yeah, man. I like 38 Special, Benny the Butcher, Griselda, all of them.
I'm a recent convert.
See.
Of Griselda.
See.
Very recent, and I am very happy in that space.
Yeah, for real.
It is very good.
You know what it is? They're like, you just mentioned Wu-Tang. I feel like they come with that,
very similar.
It's like that only built for Cuban links feel, isn't it?
Yes, very, very similar. Yeah. And when a friend of mine heard that, I had never ever heard of Benny the Butcher, he was like, you have to listen to Griselda. You have to do it.
So you listen to Mock Homie? Oh, man.
Very happy in that space.
Even there's another one, The God for Him. I don't know if you heard The God for Him.
I have.
What else we dealing with over there? You got, what's his face? Sounds like Nas a little bit. Oh, am I going to drag me for that? Euro Juke.
I don't know him.
Cold. He's hard, absolutely. Okay. But I like that kind of stuff because it's similar. You know, it's the beats in it. It's like a jazzy influence, and it's just my tempo in it, like boom bap, and it gives me a chance to open up and talk in it. You get me?
Okay. Yeah. Well, how many children do you have?
Got about 100, man.
100, yeah.
Yeah, joking. I got 4, but it feels like 100.
Well, I can assume children are a lot of work.
Yeah, man, it's blessing though.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I'm asking is because we've got, I guess it's an agony. It's like am I the asshole scenario?
Okay.
Right? And the title is, am I the asshole for dropping my daughter off at daycare early so her teacher can do her hair? So, it goes, I'm a newly divorced dad of a 3-year-old girl, and I have her every other week. My daughter has very curly hair that my ex-wife used to take care of. Now that I'm alone and I'm with her half the time, I have to figure it out. I try, but on my weeks, her hair is mostly a frizzy, tangled mess. A teacher at my daughter's daycare has very similar hair to my daughter's, so I asked if she could help me with my daughter's hair. She said she could do my daughter's hair in the mornings if I dropped her off earlier. So it would mean about dropping her off about half an hour before. She gave me a list of the curly hair products to buy and what to bring to school. She also gave me some tips for washing and caring for her at home. I guess my daughter told my ex that her teacher does her hair and it's not me, and that she goes to daycare early now because my ex called me and asked me if I drop her off half an hour early every morning so I could avoid doing her hair. She called me a bad parent for relying on a teacher to do my job and for messing up the morning routine so we could get to school early enough. Right. I I thought I was doing right by making sure her hair is cared for on my weeks, but my ex feels very strongly about this. So I wanted to know if I was the arsehole.
Listen, yeah. Man, them sort of throw stones in glass houses and all that. You get what I'm saying? You get me? But for me, the last thing you want to do is get the teacher to do your kid's hair, innit? Do you get me? Like, if I'm being honest with you, that's some arsehole shit. To get me? I've got to side with that. But I want to talk because I can't do my children's hair, innit? I can't even front. If it comes to me, they have to do school runs.
Right.
Hair gets plaited the night before, innit? Their hair.
That's smart.
Put the do-rag on, and the next day we're good, innit? There's no worry about hair, innit? You get what I'm saying? So, it's rich for me to say he's an arsehole, but he's an arsehole. Are you gonna, like,
Teachers doing your child's hair.
Yo, that's a mad thing.
I've been livid.
That's a mad thing. And you know, for the teacher to know that kind of business as well. Teacher should be known business like that. Like, yo, you're putting too much out there for the teacher to know, but the teacher call people like the child's not being looked after properly and whatnot, ain't getting their hair done. Man's opening a can of worms asking teacher to do.
That's a good point. Hair. That's a very good point. But okay.
But yeah, he's an arsehole, man. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, I guess I just think like what you were saying. I didn't think I never.
I've got 3 daughters and 1 boy in it.
Right.
The oldest one, she don't need me to do no hair. You get me? So baby, she's blessed right now, innit? So if I've got to do a school run, I beg you to plait her hair. Even the boy, I'm a plaiter. I don't.
Why don't you do it, Strauss?
I'm not educated in that.
That's not true.
I am. I'm on the real. Like, you know what it is? If it came out to me and it was put on me to say, yo, you do her hair, I'm not doing it, I'll go and pay someone to do it.
Fair enough.
Like, straight, I'll go.
But maybe
some kind of salon.
Yeah, and there's
let's do it, because there's certain things in life people can't do. There's certain things people kind of.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's true.
Hair is not one thing I can do, so I will pay someone that can do.
Not her teacher.
Definitely not her teacher. I don't want them to know. I just want any conversation I have with my teacher. Yeah, my kids' teacher is one of them. It's like, yo, are they doing good? Yeah, they are. Thank you. Have a nice day. And we keep it moving in. Tell me if they're being bad, if they're being good, but we're not going into
hair.
My divorced ex keeps sending my child to my yard, and I can't do her hair in it. Can you do that for me, please? You know how mad that looks.
It's all very interesting, but yeah.
And the kid hotted him up as well.
What? Called mummy. Dad can't do my hair, so we had to leave early. So
you know how much pressure it is on the school run. Like, it's a traumatic time for children, especially on my school run. It's militancy, man, run with militancy.
Well, at least we know that your kid's hair is done.
I give thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, that's good. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we close it off?
Big up, thanks for having me, man. It's been.
Thank you for coming on. Yeah, I'm really grateful that you decided to come on, and I genuinely enjoyed our conversation. And thank you for taking the shot.
Yeah, man.
You have to come back. Well, you have to come back.
Yeah, I'll come back again, innit? But I let my man take the shot still.
No, it's
just so bad, do that.
It's the salt and lime.
Listen, I just have bare lime in my tea. I can just feel it in my tea. Oh, you get me. Well, yeah, man, big up, man.
No, please come back. I want to follow your journey.
Yeah, big up.
Your music's phenomenal, so I think you deserve to have. Please, feel free to come on and
thank you.
Talk about whatever you like.
Well, even summertime. I'm looking to drop that album. Love is the currency, innit? So look out for that. Look out for the singles that we're dropping. We try to be more active and consistent. You get me?
Of course,
because it's that time, innit? But yeah, man, check me out, STRIZZY STRAUSS. All socials, I am STRIZZY STRAUSS. You want to Google me, STRIZZY STRAUSS. YouTube, STRIZZY STRAUSS. We're there, STRIZZY STRAUSS. Big up, Salt and Lime.
Lovely. Thank you so much for coming on.
Big up for having me.
Thank you guys for watching and for Salt and Lime with us.
Love. Tequila's definitely not the drink of choice to drink.
You have to drink. It's very good.
Yeah, I'll stick with gin.
Tequila is amazing.
I'm a pink gin drinker.
It's everything.